guys, welcome back to my channel. Now this is a video that I've been meaning to do for a while, and if you guys even more so want to do like a Q&A on this subject, we can do that as well. Just let me know. But this is going to be kind of like my work from home routine, or how I work from home, how I stay productive at home, just like my tips and tricks on working from home. So I work from home all the time. I'm very grateful I work from home. YouTube is my full-time job, and then I also have a couple other things that trickle into our income as well. And they're all from home, so it's kind of a struggle, almost, and a strategy to try and fit everything in. And I am in no way, shape, or form perfect at it. I am still working on it. But I think now I know now a lot of people have been relocated to working from home because of the coronavirus, and I think people are learning how difficult it can be to work from home. It's hard to be productive. It's hard to focus in on your actual work and not on the laundry you have to do, or the dishes, or your couch is right there and it's really easy to just sink in and binge watch. That's been a struggle of mine since the coronavirus happened. My husband has been temporarily put out of work, so he's home, which I'm selfishly loving. I do enjoy him being home, but part of me doesn't want to work and just wants to binge watch on the couch with him, or play video games, or just go on a walk with him. So that has been a struggle for me. It's just a period of adjusting, and I know everybody's going through changes, and so I just wanted to share my tips on how I stay productive and work from home. So I hope you find this helpful. Let's just go ahead and get into the tips. So my first tip is to get ready for the day. I am somebody that definitely feels better after a morning shower, and when I say get ready, that could be any extent of getting ready. It would just mainly mean take a shower, or if you don't want to do that, just wash your face, brush your teeth, get ready for the day, and put on other clothes that are not pajamas. I think having a shift in gear in that sense of just, instead of just rolling out of the bed, moving straight to the computer, which is something I definitely used to do, but now having that shift, it's like a whole different mindset. And I am lucky in which I work from home. I get to set up my day however I want it. And it depends on the day of how much work I have to do, but I never set an alarm. One, because I'm I arise really early on my own. I usually wake up between 7 and 8. I know people wake up much earlier, but just like that's why I don't need to set an alarm, because I wake up on my own. I've never really been able to sleep in. As awful as it is, I will work from bed for a little bit just on my phone. I'll answer any emails. I get tons and tons of emails with this job, and it's hard to keep up. So I do try to get to those several times in the day, and I look at them first thing when I wake up, which I'm sure people would disagree with, but it works for me. As I'm waking up, I'm going through my emails in bed. But after that, I get up, I shower, I get ready. Some days, it depends on if I'm filming, if I'm doing something on Insta stories, if I'm vlogging, or if I just feel like putting it on, I'll put on makeup. I don't always put on makeup, but I do always do like my skincare, and I shower, I get dressed for the day. I don't put on like jeans or anything. I'm not a psychopath, but I definitely put on some like leggings, maybe a cuter top, sometimes like a hair accessory, some earrings. It's amazing how much more you feel put together with just like a simple earring or like a barrette in your hair. You just feel like, oh, I'm ready for the day. My second tip is to definitely make your bed. I have been a firm believer in making my bed always, because my mother was. All throughout my school years, my mom would wake me up and help me make my bed, and it's just a nice way to start your day. And it was also nice to come home to a made bed. But when you're working from home, it can be really easy to slip back into that bed. So if you make your bed, it just is a nice way to be like, okay, that's tucked in for the day. We will see you later on tonight. Well, most of the time. Sometimes I definitely do still go lay on top of the bed. But still, I always find it nice to like get back in a bed that's been made. Otherwise the sheets are all messed up and all that. So making your bed is definitely a priority to have like a better, more productive day in the Bramy household. My third tip is kind of more like setting up your work day or your work week, and that might mean the night before for you, or first thing in the morning when you wake up, when you have your coffee. I don't have coffee, but I do always diffuse Citrus Fresh right when I wake up. That is my sort of like morning motivation. The smell of it is just really like relaxing, yet uplifting, and makes me want to get to work. And now it's kind of like linked in my brain. When I smell Citrus Fresh or bergamot, which we'll talk about in a minute, I am like in work mode. And it's kind of like you train, it takes like 21 days to make a habit or whatever that is. Like now I have a habit of I smell that, I'm ready for the day. It's the morning, I'm waking up, and I'm ready to get to work. But so whenever you want to, I would suggest, I'm using my hands a lot in this video, let me just put them down, but then I feel awkward doing that. But whenever you want to, just plan out your day or your week or your month. And there are several ways that I do that, since I basically have a content calendar, which I use my Erin Condren monthly planner. I have it right here. I get a lot of messages and questions about what happened to your planner videos. In 2017, I think it was, maybe, yeah, I think 2017. At the end of the year, I added up how much I spent on planner stickers, and I was like, nope, I am not allowing that ever again. It's just basically a glorified scrapbook, and if you're into that, it's great and it's fun, but I wanted something a little more functional. Also, honestly, it was so much to keep up with that I would fall behind, and then I wouldn't feel like feeling it in, and it became more of a job to like fill in my planner than like a functional situation, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna stick to photo albums and maybe actual scrapbooks, which I am gonna do a wedding related scrapbook that I've been putting off in this quarantine time. But anyway, now I've adjusted my planning system to 3 things. So I use this as a monthly kind of list making situation and a content calendar. So this is the monthly one, and it comes with a month layout. And I use a pencil so that things can be easily moved around because I don't always get stuff done when I want to, although I try, or I have another idea and I want to shift things around, so I always use pencil. But I do use the month layouts just to kind of map out and plan out my videos for the month. And something I also do is I will start a list of videos. So just like things that come to my mind, I write them down. But anything that I didn't get to in March's list of videos will move to April's, and it's just like an easy way to reference back and see like, oh, what ideas did I have for this month? And this is just kind of like where I keep my ideas for videos. So I flip back and forth between that and then trying to map them out on my calendar. If I have any sponsored videos, that is a way that I make money as well through YouTube, is sometimes companies sponsor me to talk about them in a more in-depth fashion. Of course, it's always companies that I truly love and use anyway. But with that, there are deadlines to hit that you have to turn them in. There's just like different things in contracts you have to keep up with. So that is nice to lay out as well. I never like to put 2 sponsored videos like close together if I can help it, which a lot of the times I fail at that. But it's just a nice way to map things out, lay everything out so that when I'm going to make my daily lists, I know what needs to get done when, if I want to hit these videos or the certain deadlines I have to hit. Speaking of daily lists, I have moved to doing it on my phone. I have a to-do this week list. I've learned recently that there is like a little check mark that you can push, and if you finish something, you can literally tap that little bubble and it marks it off for you. So it's not as satisfying as writing something out, but I also like doing it this way because I will often do a week at a time. I have a to-do this week situation that it has Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I just fill it in. And if I want to move things around, I just cut and paste to a different day, and it makes it really, really easy. And that way I'm not like wasting a bunch of post-it notes each day writing things down. I like to do things in a week in advance so that I kind of feel calm, and it's like, okay, I'm doing this on Monday, which means I need to do this on Tuesday, and I can have this done by Thursday, if that makes any sense. I'm somebody who likes to try and stay on top of things as much as I can. I am self-employed, so if I don't get things done, nobody does, which I know is like, that doesn't relate to everybody, but like, I do have to make sure I'm structured and that I am hitting deadlines that I personally want to hit in order to grow and, you know, actually make money. In order to make money from doing YouTube, you have to treat it like a full-time job, and it really is. I work all the time, and just luckily I love what I'm doing. So anyway, so yeah, I love making lists on my phone. I do it up for everything now. Grocery lists, I have a list of dog names on my phone, just all the lists on my phone. And then the third way that I will kind of organize my life, and this is more not like just work related, but I do use the Google Calendar app. I like that you can color coordinate. This is kind of how I mark like everything. Bills, travel, birthdays, like doctor's appointments, therapy, dentist, like anything like that. I will mark my YouTube sponsorship deadline so that I know when things are coming up. Just anything that I need to hit. So I don't use this more on like a daily situation, but a monthly and weekly for sure. And I just keep everything in there. So I have things across a bunch of different ways of organization, and it just kind of keeps me on track. Of course, there's digital planning as well. I was trying to digital plan on my iPad because I have like the little pencil or whatever you call it. I wasn't loving it. I do like it to make notes from time to time if I'm just wanting to jot things down. But again, it started to feel more like work when this is just so easy. Pen and paper or pencil and paper, and I can just use the notes app for other fun stuff. And Erin Condren has worked out so well for me. They have a bunch of different like options and variations you can use. They have the Life Daily Planner, or what's it called? Daily Life Planner or something. It's a much more broken down for each day if you like to write each day. But for me, this works, a monthly spread, but this also does have some like extra pages that you can fill out, some goal setting. Erin Condren will have something for everybody if you want to check it out. And I do believe I have a $10 off your first purchase code, which I can link down below. Another tip is to have a separate workspace. And I know that that doesn't like work for everybody. We do have a second bedroom. It's kind of, they call it a den because it's kind of like a bonus room for this apartment. There's no closets or bathrooms in here. It's just a really long room on the side of our apartment, which I'm really grateful. It's like one of the reasons we wanted this place, this and the fireplace and the huge bedroom, but we're really grateful for it because I can work in here. So I recently turned this into, I used to be really frustrated with this room because it was just full of crap. And while it still kind of is, we're still working on it. I have a pile of stuff right down there that I need to list on eBay to sell. But overall, I am so much, like I'm in love with the way it looks in here. We got a cute chair for the corner that sometimes if I'm working on something a little more lighter, Bradley comes and joins me and hangs out in here. We put up some shelves. I have a bunch of plants. I have, you guys have seen a million times my little windowsill that has a bunch of plants and crystals on it that just makes me so happy. Just having a separate, organized workspace just really helps me get motivated. So I don't really do anything for like pleasure in this room. I'm in the room right now. If you didn't know, I have my back corner, which is where I film. I do my makeup back here, so I guess that is for pleasure. So I have my little vanity. This is where I film. I keep my nail polishes in here, of course, but that's like a work of art. But I keep all of my Etsy stuff in here, which that is another job of mine. I've had an Etsy store for a long time, like 12 years. I am so old. But I do have like a little cameo store on Etsy that I don't, to be honest, like make new stuff very often, but I do still sell what I have in stock and remake the cameo, whatever. So I do still have that up and running, and I get, it's not like booming business, but I definitely get enough to like remain open. So I have a chest of drawers with all of the jewelry in there. I ship orders in here. I have my desk, of course, with the iMac that I edit on. I have a little like desk over there that has my laptop. I prefer to edit only on my iMac if I can help it. Of course, like there are times where I'm traveling or whatever where it makes more sense to do it on my laptop, but I love editing on the big computer. But I tend to do more like email stuff or like edit images or just any like admin stuff on my laptop. So I do love having both, and I share the iMac with Bradley. So if he's wanting to do something on it, I can do my work from my laptop as well. And I just turned this space into something that I love, but also like I come in here and I know that it's time to work. So if you are working from home right now or looking to work from home or just be more productive in general, find any sort of space that could be your workspace and make it that the same every day. So whether it's a desk you have in your home, maybe it's just like a small area of the kitchen table, set up your stuff, just anything to drag you out of the bed or the couch, because I feel like that could easily switch from working to binge watching or being on Instagram or anything like that. So having a dedicated workspace where you sit down every day, you know, okay, this is where I'm working today, it kind of gets you in the mindset. And also another tip that I have within that is to set the mood. If you are working from home, you kind of have, well, I guess even if you have an office, if you're not sharing with anybody else, but you kind of have the opportunity to set things up the way you would like them. So I, for instance, have a bunch of twinkle lights in here. I have candles. This actually is a candle from the bedroom. I don't have any candles in here, but I have plants to make me feel nice and calm and happy. I have some more string lights across the other window, and I get the oil diffusing. I pretty much strictly only diffuse bergamot while I'm working. I don't know why, but now it's like a habit and I love it. It's kind of like a more bitter grapefruit, but it's still sweet and like citrusy and uplifting and motivating. So I always get that going before I'm gonna sit down to either film or like a long day of editing or just computer work. So definitely set the mood, open up a window, light a candle, just whatever makes you feel good. I would do that to settle in to really working. Once you are sitting down to work, I would recommend turning off distractions if you can. I oftentimes will leave my phone like in the bedroom charging so that I'm not tempted to go on Instagram. A lot of the time my work does have to do with Instagram if I'm linking things or just trying to keep up, or, you know, I don't know, just sometimes Instagram is part of my job, but if it's not for the day, I do find a lot of pleasure in watching other people's stories on Instagram, so I kind of have to like distance myself from that if I'm trying to be really productive. And also, I really only check my emails on my phone. It's not really something I do on my computer. I don't know why, But if I am trying to focus on one task, emails can definitely be distracting because they're constantly coming in. And if it's like an exciting email that I want to get to, then I really easy could shift focus, and I don't want to do that. So for the most part, I try to leave my iPad and my phone elsewhere when I want to get down to work. You can put it on airplane mode, turn off your like notifications for the day, whatever works. Just try to eliminate all distractions if you can. My last 2 tips are to take a lunch break if you know you're working a typical 9 to 5, which I don't always like do the typical 9 to 5 situation, but like I will start maybe around 9. Before the quarantine, I did used to take it's like it's so long ago. I like to take morning exercise classes, so not every morning, but when I do have like a yoga class or Pilates, sometimes my day will start a little bit later. But for the most part, I try to start in the morning. And I do always take a lunch break. I give myself anywhere from like 30 to an hour just to like, just de-stress a little bit, make myself something to eat, maybe catch up on a show or a YouTube video, do something around the house if I need to do laundry or dishes or whatever, and then I'll get back to work. So I do allow myself a little bit of a break for lunch. And then my last tip would be to have an end time. Now this is something for me that like, I actually used to struggle with this way more than I do. I've gotten better now that I'm thinking about it, but in order for me to sleep better, I have started to implement stopping working. That didn't make any sense. I stop working anywhere between 6 and 7. I mean, if I have nothing left to do, I'll stop, but like I'll wrap things up around then so I can kind of de-stress, have dinner, watch something with my husband, do whatever, and so I'm not working all the way up to bedtime and then my mind is reeling as I'm trying to fall asleep. So I do give myself a cutoff time. 7 is my absolute latest. I can finish before then, of course, but like I do not work past 7, and I find that that works for me. If I do need to get dinner started a little earlier, if I'm cooking that night, then I'll stop a little bit before then. But having an endpoint, I think, is definitely appropriate. And if you're not self-employed, if you're working like 9 to 5, then that's made for you. But something that has been helpful for me. And even still, I'm somebody that like, if I have an idea, like my mind starts reeling. But a lot of the times I would like edit or do whatever all the way up to the point of sleep and then dream about doing it. So I always call those work dreams, which I hate because I really feel like I didn't get any sleep. So in order to avoid those, I stop at 7, leave it on the table, and then pick it up back in the next morning. But okay guys, that is it for my work from home tips. I hope they were helpful. I know a lot of them seem like common sense, but I do feel, and I'm still working on it, but I do feel like I'm getting more and more into the routine of working from home and feeling productive. And you know, I do have days where I do try to do way too much at once, where I do laundry and all my work. I guess that would be a tip as well, is try to space things out, which also comes in handy with like planning your week out in the beginning. But yeah, if you guys have any extra tips, please leave them down below. I know a lot of people are working from home right now, or if you're watching this in the future, you just wanted tips on working from home. I'm sure there's helpful comments down below. But yeah guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you are adjusting well to life at home. I've been joking with people, I'm like, this is what I deal with all the time. By choice, of course, but it definitely can take a toll on your mental health, which I also learned. A lot of people think that like, oh, working from home is the dream. And while it is for me, you do have to be careful because you don't see anybody and you just like, there's no difference between work and home life. Something else I do is I always take off Sundays. I usually work through Saturdays, but Sundays I do not work, which works out really well for me, and I really look forward to Sundays just doing whatever the heck I want. But I know that life at home, like fully at home, is definitely adjustment, and right now it's like super an adjustment because you can't even like escape to Target or anything. But we will get through this, and I hope that this brought you a little bit of comfort or help or anything. If you have any questions, let me know down below. But I love you guys. I'll see you soon with more videos. I'm cranking them out, or at least I'm trying to. But yeah, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.